What if I told you that the debilitating leg weakness, the frustrating fatigue, and the painful cramps that you've been told are an inevitable part of growing older might not be due to your age at all? What if the cane sitting in the corner of your room, the one you're beginning to rely on more and more, could be relegated to gathering dust? It's a shocking thought, I know. For decades, we've been conditioned to believe a pervasive myth that as the years pile up, our bodies, especially our legs, are destined to fail us. We accept it as a sad, unchangeable fact of life. But today, I want to challenge that notion head-on. My name is Dr. Daniel Walker, and I've spent over 30 years as a geriatric health specialist, helping thousands of seniors across the United States reclaim their strength, mobility, and independence. And I'm here to tell you that one of the most common culprits behind the leg weakness that plagues so many Americans over 60 is not the number on their birthday cake, but a hidden deficiency in their diet. We're about to embark on a journey together, one that promises not just information, but transformation. I'm not going to give you a list of complicated exercises or prescribe expensive supplements. Instead, I'm going to reveal the powerful healing magic found right in your local grocery store, perhaps a place like the Kroger, down the street in Cincinnati, Ohio, or the Publix you frequent in sunny Naples, Florida. We're going to talk about a humble, yet mighty mineral, potassium. This isn't just another health lecture. This is a new chapter. I'm going to share with you the story of how a simple mineral, often overlooked, holds the key to unlocking the strength and vitality you thought you had lost forever. We will explore 5 specific, delicious, and readily available foods that are packed with this life-giving nutrient, foods that can quite literally form the foundation of stronger, more resilient legs. Forget what you think you know. The solution isn't about fighting age. It's about nourishing your body with the right fuel. So, grab a comfortable seat, and let's begin the process of rebuilding your strength from the inside out. Before we delve into the powerhouse foods that will be the cornerstone of your renewed strength, we must first dismantle the biggest obstacle standing in your way: the deeply ingrained belief that weakening legs are just a non-negotiable part of the aging process. It's a narrative we hear constantly, from well-meaning family members to even some corners of the medical community. You might start to notice it's a little harder to get up from your favorite armchair, or that a walk around the block at your community in Scottsdale, Arizona feels more like a marathon. The immediate assumption is, well, I'm just not as young as I used to be. This mindset is not only disempowering, but it's also dangerously misleading. By attributing every ache, pain, and loss of function to the relentless march of time, we close our minds to exploring the true underlying causes, many of which are entirely within our control to fix. This passive acceptance allows preventable conditions to take root and flourish, turning a manageable issue into a chronic disability. The old way of thinking tells you to simply buy a better cane, install a stairlift, and accept a more sedentary life. But this approach doesn't solve the problem. It merely accommodates the decline. It's a path that leads to decreased independence, a higher risk of falls, and a diminished quality of life. The importance of shifting this perspective cannot be overstated. Your body is a complex biological machine, and, like any machine, it requires specific fuel and maintenance to run properly, regardless of its mileage. The vital role potassium plays in this equation is something that has been tragically overlooked for far too long. Think of your nervous system as the electrical wiring of your house, and your muscles as the appliances. For an appliance to turn on, an electrical signal must travel flawlessly through the wires. Potassium is the master electrician of your body. It is an electrolyte, which means it carries a small electrical charge. This charge is absolutely essential for conducting nerve impulses and triggering muscle contractions. When your potassium levels are low, a condition known as hypokalemia, that electrical signaling system breaks down. The messages from your brain telling your leg muscles to contract, to hold your weight, to propel you forward, become weak and garbled. The result is exactly what you feel: profound muscle weakness, uncontrollable twitching, painful cramps, especially at night, and a heavy leaden fatigue in your limbs. It's not that your muscles have forgotten how to work, it's that they are not receiving the clear, strong commands they need to function. Understanding this physiological reality is the first, most crucial step toward reclaiming your power. Your leg weakness isn't a personal failing or a sign of irreversible decay. It's a direct biological consequence of a nutritional shortfall that we can and will correct. So, how do we begin to restock this crucial mineral? Let's start with a humble hero of the produce aisle that often gets overlooked: the sweet potato. While many people think of bananas for potassium, a single medium-sized baked sweet potato, about 5 inches long, can provide over 540 milligrams of potassium, which is significantly more than a medium banana. This vibrant orange vegetable is not only a potassium powerhouse, but is also rich in beta-carotene, which your body converts to vitamin A, and fiber, which is essential for digestive health. The solution is simple and delicious. Instead of reaching for plain white potatoes, make the switch. You can bake a sweet potato in your oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, about 200 degrees Celsius, for 45 to 60 minutes until it's tender. You don't need to add much. A small pat of butter and a dash of cinnamon is all it takes to create a satisfying and nutrient-dense side dish. Or you can boil and mash them, just as you would regular potatoes. I had a patient, a wonderful 72-year-old gentleman from Boise, Idaho, named Robert. He was a retired carpenter who loved to work in his garden, but crippling leg cramps at night and a pervasive weakness during the day had forced him to give up his passion. He was convinced his best years were behind him. We took a look at his diet, which was heavy in processed foods, and made one simple change to start. We replaced his nightly dinner roll with a small baked sweet potato. Within a month, he reported that his night cramps had vanished, and he had enough energy to spend an hour in his garden each morning. It was a small, easy change that yielded a life-altering result. The second food I want to introduce you to is the creamy, delicious avocado. It's a true superfood for seniors. Just half of a medium-sized Hass avocado contains close to 500 milligrams of potassium, all wrapped up with healthy monounsaturated fats that are excellent for heart health and can help reduce bad cholesterol levels. Many people in their senior years shy away from avocados, fearing they are too high in fat. But these are the good fats your body needs. Incorporating them is incredibly easy. You can spread a quarter of an avocado on your whole wheat toast in the morning instead of butter or jam. You can add a few slices to your lunchtime salad or sandwich. Or you can even blend it into a smoothie for a creamy, nutrient-rich boost. The versatility of avocados makes them a simple addition to any meal, providing a powerful dose of potassium without you even noticing a major change in your diet. By starting with these two simple, actionable food swaps, sweet potatoes and avocados, you are actively rewiring your body's electrical system, giving your muscles the signal strength they need to carry you through your day with confidence and ease. If you are finding this information helpful and believe it can make a difference in your life, please take a moment to type the number 1 in the comments section below. If this isn't resonating with you, or if you feel it's not useful, please type a 0. Your honest feedback is incredibly important and helps me create better, more impactful content for this community. Now, let's address the elephant in the room when it comes to potassium: the banana. For generations, we've been told that if you have a leg cramp, you should eat a banana. If you feel weak, eat a banana. While it's true that bananas do contain potassium, a medium one has about 422 milligrams. They have been mistakenly crowned as the ultimate king of potassium sources. This banana myth is a classic example of how a piece of well-meaning but incomplete advice can become a public health roadblock. The old way of thinking, the one we're working to overcome, is that relying solely on a banana a day is sufficient to meet your potassium needs. The problem with this approach is multifaceted. Firstly, as we've already seen with the sweet potato and avocado, there are numerous other foods that are far more potent sources of this vital mineral. By focusing only on bananas, we are ignoring a vast and varied arsenal of foods that could be doing much more for our health. Secondly, for many older adults, especially those managing blood sugar levels or diabetes, the high sugar content of a ripe banana can be a concern. Relying on multiple bananas to boost potassium could inadvertently lead to unwanted spikes in glucose. This narrow focus on a single food source is not just limiting, it can be counterproductive to your overall health goals. The importance of diversifying your potassium sources cannot be emphasized enough. Think of it like building a financial portfolio. You wouldn't invest all your money in a single stock, would you? The risk would be too high. Similarly, relying on one food for a critical nutrient makes your health vulnerable. By broadening your dietary horizons, you create a more resilient nutritional foundation. This is where the concept of nutrient density becomes paramount for seniors. As we get older, our appetites may decrease, and we often consume fewer calories overall. Therefore, it is absolutely critical that every bite of food we eat is packed with the maximum amount of nutrition possible. We need to choose foods that give us the most bang for our buck, nutritionally speaking. A cup of cooked spinach, for example, contains a staggering 840 milligrams of potassium, nearly double that of a banana, for a fraction of the calories and sugar. A 6-ounce fillet of wild-caught salmon, a fish abundant in the waters off the coast of Alaska, not only provides over 600 milligrams of potassium, but also delivers a healthy dose of anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids, which are crucial for brain and joint health. When you start to compare the numbers, you can see that while a banana is a good food, it's far from the best choice when your primary goal is to powerfully and efficiently combat potassium deficiency and rebuild leg strength. So, let's put this into action with our next two potassium powerhouses. First, let's embrace leafy greens, specifically spinach. Don't be intimidated if you're not a fan of salads. One of the easiest ways to get a massive dose of spinach is to blend it into a smoothie. You can take one large handful of fresh spinach, about a cup, half a cup of plain Greek yogurt, which also has potassium, a quarter cup of water or milk, and a few frozen berries. When you blend it all, the taste of the spinach completely disappears, but you get all of the incredible nutritional benefits. It's a simple breakfast or afternoon snack that can supercharge your potassium intake. Our fourth food is that beautiful pink-hued fish, wild-caught salmon. Aim to incorporate a 6-ounce portion of salmon into your diet twice a week. Preparation couldn't be simpler. Take a fillet, place it on a piece of aluminum foil, drizzle it with a little olive oil, squeeze some fresh lemon juice over it, and sprinkle it with a bit of dill and black pepper. Bake it at 400 degree bar was, 200 degrees, for about 12-15 minutes. It's a quick, elegant meal that is not only bursting with potassium, but also supports your entire body with its rich omega-3 content. I recall a patient, a delightful 80-year-old woman from Charleston, South Carolina, named Eleanor. She was a retired librarian who loved to walk along the Battery, but her leg weakness had made her fearful of falling. She confessed she only ate bananas for potassium. We worked together to introduce baked salmon on Tuesdays and Thursdays and a small spinach smoothie in the mornings. The change was remarkable. After 2 months, she called my office, her voice brimming with excitement, to tell me she had walked the entire length of the Battery and back without once feeling unsteady. She had diversified her portfolio, and the dividends were paid in strength and confidence. Does this new information about bananas and other more potent sources of potassium surprise you? I'd love to know what you think. Please let me know by typing a 1 for yes or a 0 for no in the comments below. Your feedback is truly invaluable to me and helps me tailor my advice to your needs. Finally, we must address a crucial, often invisible piece of the puzzle. It's not always about what you're putting into your body. Sometimes the problem lies with what's causing essential nutrients to leave it. Imagine you're trying to fill a bucket with water, but unbeknownst to you, there are several small holes in the bottom. No matter how much water you pour in, the bucket will never be full. This is precisely what can happen with your body's potassium levels. The old way of thinking focuses exclusively on dietary intake, a one-sided approach that fails to consider the factors that actively deplete this critical mineral. This is a significant oversight, particularly within the senior community. Many older adults in the United States are managing chronic health conditions with medications, consuming a diet that can be high in processed foods, and dealing with age-related changes in kidney function. Each of these factors can act as a hole in the bucket, silently draining your body of the potassium you are so carefully trying to consume, leaving you feeling weak and fatigued despite your best efforts. Understanding these hidden potassium drainers is absolutely critical for long-term success. It's about playing both offense, eating potassium-rich foods, and defense, mitigating potassium loss. One of the most common culprits is a class of medications called diuretics, often referred to as water pills. These are frequently prescribed for high blood pressure or heart failure, and while they are effective, a common side effect is that they cause the kidneys to excrete excess potassium along with sodium and water. Another major drainer is a high-sodium diet. The typical American diet, filled with canned soups, frozen dinners, deli meats, and fast food, is notoriously high in sodium. Your body works tirelessly to maintain a delicate balance between sodium and potassium. When you ingest excessive sodium, your body attempts to flush it out through your urine, and unfortunately, potassium often gets taken out along with it. Furthermore, as we age, our kidney function can naturally decline, making it harder for our bodies to regulate electrolyte levels effectively. Ignoring these factors is like trying to drive your car with the emergency brake on. You're working against yourself, making progress slow and frustrating. The solution here is two-pronged. We must plug the leaks while continuing to fill the bucket. This brings us to our fifth and final potassium powerhouse, white beans. Just 1 cup of canned cannellini or navy beans, rinsed to remove excess sodium, can provide a phenomenal 1,000 milligrams of potassium or more. They are also incredibly high in fiber and plant-based protein. A simple, heartwarming white bean soup or a 3-bean salad can be an easy and inexpensive way to significantly boost your potassium levels. For example, you can take a can of rinsed white beans, a can of low-sodium chicken or vegetable broth, and some basic vegetables like carrots and celery from your local farmer's market in a place like Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and simmer them together for a wonderfully nutritious meal. Alongside adding beans to your diet, you must become a savvy consumer. Start reading the nutrition labels on packaged foods. You will be shocked to see the amount of sodium lurking in seemingly healthy options. Whenever possible, choose fresh, whole foods over their processed counterparts. Lastly, and this is non-negotiable, you must have an open conversation with your doctor. If you are taking a diuretic or any other medication, ask them, could this medication be affecting my potassium levels? They can run a simple blood test to check. In some cases, they may be able to switch you to a potassium-sparing diuretic or recommend specific dietary adjustments. I worked with a gentleman, a 68-year-old retired bus driver from Chicago named George. He was eating a healthy diet but still suffered from terrible leg fatigue. We discovered his blood pressure medication was a potent diuretic. His doctor adjusted his prescription, and we added white bean and kale soup to his weekly menu. The combination was the key. He stopped the drain and increased his intake simultaneously, and for the first time in years, he had the energy to take his grandkids to Lincoln Park Zoo. If this section has given you a new perspective on managing your health, a new piece of the puzzle you hadn't considered before, please show your support by typing a 1 in the comments. If this wasn't what you expected or wasn't helpful, typing a 0 will let me know what I need to focus on improving for our next discussion. Let's take a moment to look back at the simple yet powerful path we've mapped out today. We have shattered the debilitating myth that leg weakness is an inescapable sentence of aging, revealing it instead as an often treatable condition directly linked to a deficiency in the vital mineral potassium. We've moved beyond the limited advice of just eating a banana and uncovered a world of superior, nutrient-dense options. We learned that to truly nourish our bodies, we must start with the vibrant sweet potato and the creamy, heart-healthy avocado. We then elevated our strategy by incorporating the astonishingly potassium-rich spinach and the omega-3 packed wild-caught salmon. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we armed ourselves with the knowledge of the hidden drainers, like high-sodium foods and certain medications. And we found our fifth hero in the humble yet mighty white bean, a food that helps us refill our reserves. These 5 foods are more than just items on a grocery list. They are the tools you can use, starting today, to rebuild your body from the cellular level up, to restore the electrical signals that power your every move, and to reclaim the physical freedom you deserve. My final piece of advice to you is this: be patient and be consistent. The weakness you feel didn't develop overnight, and rebuilding your strength will take a little time. Start small. Pick just one of these foods and find a way to incorporate it into your meals this week. Maybe it's swapping your morning toast for one with avocado or baking a sweet potato with your dinner tonight. Small, consistent actions, when compounded over time, lead to profound transformations. You hold the power to change the narrative of your health. You are the architect of your own well-being. Don't let a number define your vitality. Instead, let the food you eat be your medicine, your fuel, and your foundation for a life filled with strength, movement, and joy. The most valuable lesson I've learned, both in my years as a doctor and in my own life, is that the human body has a truly remarkable capacity to heal and regenerate, provided we give it the right building blocks. Never underestimate your body's desire to be well. It is always striving for health. Your role is simply to be a good partner in that process, to listen to its signals and provide it with the nourishment it craves. I want to hear from you. Please go to the comments section and share which of these 5 foods you are most excited to try first. Or, if you have a favorite potassium-rich recipe of your own, please share it with our community. Your experience and wisdom are invaluable. If you found this information to be a beacon of hope or a source of practical help, I would be so grateful if you would share this article with your friends, your family members, and anyone in your life who you believe could benefit from this message. And finally, be sure to subscribe to this channel, as I will be sharing much more content designed specifically to empower you on your journey to a stronger, healthier, and more vibrant life. Thank you for your time and your trust. Be well.